It is easy when you have a mental illness to get to a point where you feel like you can't go on. I've been there many, many times. What do you do about it? Well, I'm going to unpack it today, but I'm going to give you the short version at the beginning. What you need to do is you need to be patient. What you're going through now will pass in time. Don't make a bad decision when things are bad. Don't make any decisions when things are bad. Don't make any changes. Don't make any life altering commitments. Just wait. What is the biggest life altering commitment that I can think of? Choosing to take your own life. I'll start out by saying the world is better with you in it. And I want to tell you how patience can help you today. Welcome to Shattered the Podcast. STP is the story of my journey from the depths of mental illness to a place where I could live again. So I have heard many opinions. I've had a lot of people give me advice. I've had people tell me things and try to help me navigate my mental illness, and all done in the greatest spirit, all done in, people trying to help me. And I appreciate that. But there's very few things that people have said that I could really count on. Advice that really made an incredible difference. And I'm going to give you one of those pieces of advice today. Title of the episode is I Can't Go On. What Do I Do? It's going to sound counterintuitive in a lot of different ways. Do nothing. Don't make any life choices. Don't dwell on what's going on the day. Find ways to be patient. You might feel like every fiber of your being at this point in time is telling you to take your own life or hurt yourself in some way, to self-harm. And your mind's going to keep doing that. But I guarantee you tomorrow or the next day or even the day after that, you're not going to feel like this. Now, your mental illness is not going to go away. Think about it like when you get caught in a rip at the beach. When you get into a rip at the beach, which is just it's like an alleyway between the waves, of you've got the waves coming in and you've got the water being sucked out through small channels. Now, being caught in a rip is horrific unless you know what to do. The thing about being caught in a rip is it won't drag you under. It'll just pull you out to sea. Now, obviously, being pulled out to sea is not a good thing. But if you get into a rip and you try and swim against it, you will lose. So what's the answer? The answer is to stop, figure out what direction the rip is pulling you, and swim sideways. That's all you need to do to get out of a rip. And in Australia, people die every year fighting the rip, fighting the pull of the ocean, which they can't fight, which is impossible to fight. So let's translate that to a mental illness. You're being assaulted by this emotion that is overwhelming, that is all encompassing, and it is dragging you out to sea. It is pulling you to a dark, dark place. The problems come when we try and fight that dark place. We try and rail against it. We try and cry through it. We try and pray through it. We try anything that we can to stop that emotion. And if we can't, we keep fighting. And that's what happens in a rip. You start to get pulled out. You're going the opposite way to what you want to go. You're going out to open sea, and that is not ideal for anyone. But if you stop, if you take stock of where you are, if you assess your surroundings, if you look at what's going on, and then you plan your method of escape. One of those methods can just to be patient. All right, I'm in a horrible place. My mind is telling me horrible things. Let's distract ourselves. Let's be mindful. Let's not fight that feeling, that emotion, that rip. Let's just appreciate that I am in a rip. I am dealing with these emotions, but I'm not going to let it overwhelm me, and I'm not going to make any choices here. I am going to be patient. Now, I've said it before, even today, there are people that are going to say, Mark, that is the worst piece of advice I've ever heard. And it may sound like that to you, but I want you to know that it is powerful. It is powerful to understand that what you're going through will not last. The old expression, this too shall pass. Grief will pass. Anxiety will pass. Now, I'm not saying it'll stop and it will go away, but I'm saying that you are having a panic attack. Your body cannot keep you in the place of having a panic attack. A really bad panic attack, at its ultimate conclusion, will make you faint. Your body will just shut down to protect you. In that moment, though, it feels like that this is your life now, that nothing is going to change. Now, let's just go back to our thing about the rip. If you're caught in a rip and you just stop and go, this is my life now, you're going to get sucked out into the ocean and you're going to die. But if you think, if you say to yourself, okay, I'm going to swim out, you go to swim and it's too strong. So, okay, I'll take a minute. Now, I'm not saying that you stop all action. That's exactly what I'm saying not to do. I'm saying that waiting can be an action. Often we go, I'm waiting for something, I'm doing nothing. Well, that's not the case sometimes. Sometimes you're waiting for better conditions. Maybe you're waiting for a more opportune time. Waiting is not wasting time. Waiting is a deliberate action that you take as a coping mechanism. It can look like whatever you need it to look like. For me, often it will be playing a video game, or I sit at the computer and write, or I sit on the floor and I build Lego and I pull the Lego apart and I build it again. I know that I'm in the horrible place. I know that things are terrible and I know how it feels. I want to panic. But if I dwell on those emotions, if I try and fight against those emotions, I'm going to exhaust all the energy that I need in the next couple of days to get back into my routine. You get caught in a rip, you wait, just be cautious, you float. You don't let it take you out in the ocean and kill you, but you just recognize where you are. You understand that there are options. You might not see them. I got a mate that was caught in a rip once and he freaked out. He just lost it. I was only 5-10 meters away and I just screamed at him to calm down. to just float. And he went from this place where he was fighting and struggling to this place where he had acceptance. I understand that I'm in a dangerous place, but I also understand how I keep myself safe. I float. I don't dive in the water, try and swim under a rip. I don't try and swim against it. I wait until I'm in a place where I can put my strategies in place and then start to recover. It is a powerful tool, and it is one that I guarantee, if you can take it on board, if you can understand it, if you can recognize the signs of your own mental illness symptoms and understand when they are starting to get dangerous, then you can also identify that you need to be patient. As I said earlier, don't make any life decisions. While you're in a rip in the ocean, it's not a good time to be talking about your child who has learning difficulties. That is immaterial at that moment. All you're doing is just thinking about what you need to do to keep alive, and that might be just to wait. Put it in your toolkit. It's a powerful tool. And again, if you have a friend who has come to you and said, I can't do this anymore, beg with them, plead with them to just wait. Thank them because they've taken the biggest step, which is asking for help. Sometimes the best way to help is just to remind them to be patient. You are safe. Be patient. Try it. Let me know what you think. Thank you to everybody that's been commenting lately. I just found out how to respond to comments, so I'm going to do that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I hate asking people to do that because it sounds like I'm asking you to help me build income, and I'm not. I don't do this for money. I do this because I want to help people. If you like and share, all you're doing is you're hopefully getting this message out there to more and more people. Have a great week. I'll speak to you again next week. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for joining us on Shattered the Podcast. I'm Mark. Special thanks to my producer, Meredith Brosnan, and also to Torian, Kevin, and Lorraine. And we can't forget the amazing band Adelaide, who let us use their song as our theme. For more information, check us out on all your socials, STP Shattered the Podcast.